By no means was I hopeful, but man did I expect way more than what I actually got. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to One Fair Review. I'm your host, Grant, as always, and today we're going to be reviewing Resdient Evil, the Netflix original anime. Resdient Evil, the series. Infinite Darkness. Oh boy, oh gosh, I'm a loss for words. I am really a loss for words. I finished watching this. I watched this in one day because there's 4 episodes. I expected there to be more, to be honest, but alright. There's 4 episodes in this series, if you will, which really should have just been a movie. Would have saved me a lot of time. And yeah, so I watched this over the weekend, and I didn't know how to respond. The story summary. What is the fucking story? The story is about some U.S. conspiracy. It is about the U.S. military and a guy named Wilson who becomes Secretary of Defense. He encourages the President of the United States to go to war with China because China stole some files, supposedly, but he's the real villain because he's doing biological weapons and he's paying off these stupid idiot soldiers. Fucking motherfuckers. He's telling them, listen guys, I'm gonna give you some meds, you're gonna be alright. So he gives them some meds. They're fine, they're all infected, but they're fine. They're not turning into big stupid looking monsters that look like fantasy monsters. They're fine, but they all commit suicide because I guess they can't live with the grief. And then Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield are involved in this story somehow they're involved in this story, and just a bunch of things happen. Wilson, he's a bad guy. Yeah, probably spoiling, who gives a shit. This show sucked. Listen, alright, I gotta admit, I'm a little biased because whenever it comes to TV shows or media, one thing that I'm not interested in, like I've just never been interested in, is the U.S. military. That's not to say I don't respect the U.S. military. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for the U.S. military. I appreciate everybody who goes to fight in the wars to protect the country. That's very brave. Good. I have nothing but respect for military people. But when it comes to media and how they just wank off the U.S. military, that's when I have zero interest, because it happens a lot and they always focus on it. You know, one of the biggest examples is the Transformers movies. Like, the Transformers movies are supposed to be about the Transformers, yet the real star are the fucking U.S. military, and they just make them look like the coolest guys ever. Like, oh yeah, join the military. And it's super lame, and I never liked it. And ever since then, I think that I've progressively gotten more jaded and a little bit more just disinterested when it comes to the U.S. military and media, because I don't know, just modern warfare kind of stuff doesn't particularly pique my interest. Sometimes it can work, but not all the time, and most of the time they focus on it way too much. Anyways, you can imagine my surprise when going into a Resident Evil property that, of course, the U.S. military is the one that they focus on. I don't know why. Why do they think that we care about this huge thing in the U.S.? Like, because this is the second time they've done that. If anybody has played, which I hope you haven't, if anybody has seen or heard of or played Resident Evil 6, you'll know that the same kind of concept happened where it was a U.S. senator or something, some guy high up in the U.S., whatever, and he's like doing this conspiracy. He's like, oh, I put the thing in Washington D.C. because the president was gonna announce his bullshit. I don't know, something like that. And I'm probably explaining it so poorly. So yeah, they did that there, and that wasn't interesting, like, at all. And then now they're doing it again, but this time they want to really showcase the U.S. military. They also showcase a lot of, I don't know, some stupid made-up, like, desert country that I guess takes place, I guess it's supposed to be, like, I don't know, Kazakhstan or, like, Mongolia, because I think it borders China. That's the whole idea, and that's why, like, the U.S. is trying to get in it, because this is in this stupid show. And Wilson wants to start war with China for some reason. I don't know. I don't get the story. The story, there's 4 episodes. There's 4 episodes to this TV show, and I never understood what was going on, and it was so boring. Extremely boring, in fact. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about, and I don't even really know how to get it all in. Okay, so let's just talk about the story really quick. So the story begins in episode 1, showing us like this kind of, I don't know, raid or something going off in, I don't know what it's called, Penzakistan or something. I have no idea. And it's the U.S. military, and they get infected. There's zombies there, and the zombies are so pathetic. I was so shocked. Especially now that Capcom has come out with amazing games of Resident Evil, 2 remake, Resident Evil 3 remake, considerably less amazing, admittedly. And then, of course, more recently, Resident Evil 8 Village is a fantastic game. So they come out with all these amazing, horror games. Like, these are not action-packed at all. Well, I mean, I guess they are a little bit action-packed, but not to the extent of, like, John Wick stuff. So they have this amazing template. They got, like, this amazing-looking series. Like, okay, we're doing great. Let's have these zombies be coked-out lunatics who are just going insane, who are just killing everybody around them. It's so weird, and it looks so comical. I couldn't believe it. The animation makes everything look kind of cartoony, despite it being really good. I'm gonna give them credit. It looks great. The graphics, if you will, the CGI is really good. I'll give them that. Like, it's great. Like, it looks like a cutscene from like one of the video games, like an official cutscene. But somehow the video games feel more lifelike than this TV show, which just makes everyone look spastic. Like they're hopped up on like coffee, like multiple cups of coffee or cocaine. Like, it just looks insane. Like, everyone's going crazy. Like, their feet, they look so weird how they're running. I couldn't get over it. But anyways, the story. All right, the story. So there's this guy named Jason and a girl named May, I think. I don't know. And they're kind of involved with this conspiracy, and they've kind of become the main characters of this damn show instead of Leon or Claire, which Claire being the worst example of how to use a popular character in media. She shows up for, like, I don't know, a total of 7 minutes in the entire series and does really nothing. Like, we learn nothing new about Claire. She's conducting an investigation against Wilson, I guess, and she's trying to get supplies and build money in Pandistan or whatever. She's trying to help out there. Okay, whatever. I don't really know. And then Leon is like, just, he gets caught up in the action, I guess, because he's best friends with the president, because he saved the president's daughter in Resident Evil 4. Because that's yeah, okay. It makes no sense. All right, the story is all over the place. It makes no sense, and there's just nothing going on for a majority of it. The first 2 episodes, nothing's going on. I was not intrigued at all by any of this mystery. I mean, after all, again, nothing happened. We see a little bit of, like, oh, there might be a conspiracy, which obviously there is. Obviously there is a conspiracy, because why would there be a show? And then nothing happens until the 3rd episode, where that's the huge bombshell. That's where Jason, whatever, the soldier guy, tells Leon, hey, Leon, there's Wilson. He's, like, trying to do this thing with China because he's evil. He wants to be the most powerful man in the world. He wants to be rich. And I'm just thinking, like, how lame is this? That the whole reason for the antagonist is that he wants to be rich. And that's it. And it's not like I even knew Wilson well enough to begin with. It's not like we spent a lot of time with him. I gotta give credit to Resident Evil Vendetta, which is a terrible film. Leagues above this one in terms of comedy, because that Resident Evil Vendetta, I've watched that movie so many times because it's freaking hilarious. This show does not even have the inkling of hilarity that Resident Evil Vendetta had. This one is more boring and just kind of subdued. The ending of this show is so bad and so underwhelming. I couldn't believe it. There's like this big monster that looks something straight out of like the Hobbit movies, specifically the Hobbit movies. It looks ridiculous, and it makes no sense how it exists. It looks stupid. Leon is fighting it. Leon and Claire, Claire is fighting it, meaning that she's in the control room yet again, because she did that exact same thing in the very first Resident Evil animated movie, Degeneration. Towards the end, she's just in the control room, and she's dropping platforms, quite literally just like Degeneration, the first Resident Evil movie. And Leon is just kind of chasing him, and then finally he dies, and it's like, oh, that was it? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, but it was so quick. It was so fast. I was like, oh, okay. I guess that happened. None of the characters are compelling. Number one, none of the characters are compelling. None of the characters are interesting. All of them are dead too soon before we can learn anything else about them. I'm not even joking. All of them die. Like, all the characters you meet in the show, they're dead. And there's no reason for it. The BOW weapons are pathetic. There's like this rat zombies that are in one scene, and they're just so lame and stupid looking. I could not believe it. And of course Leon comes up with an amazing pun because he's so cool. Oh gosh. This show, like, the story was terrible. And I don't know, I expected more considering the teaser trailer showed it a little bit like it was gonna follow a more horror, just kind of, oh, it's gonna be horror. No, it's mainly action and mystery. That's kind of what they were going for, I guess, because I mean, nothing in this show is horror. Nothing is like scared me, like, oh gosh, it's terrifying. Like, no, it's an investigation, it's a mystery, even though it's not really. And there's some action, kind of, even if the action's really short and kind of lame. I'm actually kind of astounded at how little action there was and how much talking there was. How much talking and sitting. There's a lot of talking and sitting, which, hey, I don't mind that. Just if it's interesting, then I like it. The music also sucked, by the way. The music was really bad. The intro to the show was really bad. I could not believe how poorly this show was made. They also got the original, not the original, but they got the new voice actors from Resident Evil 2 Remake who played Claire and Leon in that game. They got them to return for this show, which was a big draw, I guess. I kind of expected that to be the case anyways, but, you know, that's just me. So they got them to reprise their roles, but they don't have even the littlest bit of personality that they did in the game. They just feel so tired. I didn't even know how that's possible, but the characters in the show look physically tired. Like, they're just like, we don't want to be here. And I don't know how they managed to accomplish that, but hey, that's impressive. Like, they looked like they didn't care, and it sounded like they didn't care. Like, there was no emoting, there was no standout moment between Leon and Claire. There was nothing interesting. There was no part where I was like, yeah, you know, that shows off their acting capabilities. Like, no, it's just like, yeah, and why did you do that? Like, hell, I'll let you get out of here alive. I'm Leon S. Kennedy. I'm the most badass motherfucker in this. Yeah, I'm in this series. Like, that's how he was talking. He sounded so bored. He sounded like he was done. Alright, so story aside, how was the presentation of the show? I already kind of touched upon that, but I'll go a little bit more in depth. The music, I have to say, the music was really bad, which that was a little bit surprising, because Resident Evil music tends to be really good in terms of the games. So I was very surprised to see that the music in here was just not even subpar. It was just completely forgettable. I don't remember a single track from it. Then there's the animation. I will give credit where credit's due. The CGI is really good. It is very impressive at times, the CGI. It looks beautiful in many instances, and it looks damn near realistic. It does look awkward because the characters, they're given like these realistic features, like their clothing, their skin, and everything, but the way they're modeled, I guess, the way they're shaped, they looked very cartoony. And their movement did not help. Their movement was very strange. They moved like, I guess like if it was like a true anime, like hand drawn, I guess like the movement wouldn't bother me as much. But even then, I'm thinking if it's an anime, they still move way too fast. They're moving really fast. It's like I'm watching it like super speed. Like I'm fast forwarding. That's how it looked sometimes. and it just looks really awkward. I don't know what it was. I mean, other than that, the animation's good. Like, the backgrounds are great, the character models, like, all of them look great. Like, I'm not gonna say that this show has nothing to offer. No, the animation's good. Just the act of how the movement is going, like how the movement is with the zombies, with the characters, with the monsters, whatever it might be. It looks super awkward and looks too fast and just too fake and unrealistic. Somehow the games managed to pull off a more lifelike kind of movement. I guess I would put it that way. Like it feels more lifelike in the video games, but in this TV show it felt completely fake. I gotta be honest, this was probably one of the most disappointing things that I've seen in a while. I can't say I've been this disappointed from something just because it was so bad. It was so bad, and it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Like I said, Resident Evil Vendetta is not a movie I'd recommend if you want to have let's have a very serious movie where we can really just get emotional. No, it's terrible. It's really bad. But it's funny. It's camp. It's completely just stupid and all the wrong choices. It feels like MacGruber. It's so dumb. But I have fun watching it. This does not have that benefit. What I find even more just baffling to me is, years ago in the mid 2000s, I want to say 2004, 2005. I don't remember honestly, if I'm being completely honest, but around that time, Resident Evil Degeneration came out. It's the very first Resident Evil CGI anime. I'm not going to sit here and claim that movie is a masterpiece, Resident Evil Degeneration. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece because it does have flaws. But in hindsight, I am shocked at how good that movie is and how it, in a way, still holds up. I can still watch that movie today, and I still find it entertaining. Is it dated? Yes, the animation is dated. The character models look weird. It's a CGI anime from 2005. Obviously, it's not held up the best, but it's still, the story and the characters I think are still pretty good, and there are certain scenes that I still think are pretty good. The whole idea of Degeneration's great. It feels just like the video games where it takes place within, I think, a day or two. It takes place within 2 days. It starts off with, hey, there's an outbreak. What the hell's happening? Turns out it's a terrorist organization. Alright, now let's go to this pharmaceutical company headquarters. And there's a secret lab underneath. And yes, it's not completely, I don't take it 100% seriously, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining and it's very well made. At least for the time, it was very well made, the animation. The music still holds up from what I remember. The characters, Leon and Claire, they're badass in that movie. That's one of the few times they really show them being true badass characters, unlike the rest of the stuff that's come out since. And like I said, the story was pretty good. It felt like something in line with the video games, where the video games, the story's not the best, but you don't go there for the story, you go there for the horror experience and the characters that you like. So in that sense, if you want a true Resident Evil experience in a movie format, Resident Evil Degeneration is still the only good CGI anime movie that they have done, in my opinion. Everything else after that, Damnation, kind of boring. Vendetta, it's really dumb, but a lot of fun, so I'll give it a pass. And then Infinite Darkness is just really bad, so it's really boring, especially. So I'm a loss for words, to be honest. I just don't know why they can't replicate Degeneration. And Degeneration, surprisingly, is the only one that has normal zombies. Slow-moving zombies, what people like. Again, that's what we want. That's what I want. Hey, I want zombies. I want normal zombies. What can I say? Only the future could tell what happens with the Resident Evil media, aside from the video games, which are doing amazing. I'm not so sure about the new TV show that's coming out from Netflix. I mean, I'm gonna assume that this is better than their TV show. I mean, I've already heard things I don't like about that they've done. And then the newest Resident Evil movie, I mean, the director says he wants it to be more faithful, but he also directed 47 Meters Down. I mean, I guess I'll give him a chance. I mean, 47 Meters Down, it's not terrible. It's not a bad movie, so I'll let him. I'll reserve judgment. Am I optimistic about it? No, but I am interested. I am intrigued to watch that movie, unlike the Netflix show, which I probably won't watch. Anyways, if I had to rate Resident Evil Infinite Darkness out of 10, it would seriously have to be a very low 4 out of 10. I did not like this, and I don't recommend it because it's boring, and it just really disappointed me. But at the same time, it's also really just bad. It's a bad script. It's a bad idea. It's not great executed. It's just nothing about it really intrigued me, other than, I guess, the animation does look good. That's the only positive I could give it, and that's honestly where the 4 extra points are coming from. The animation's pretty good. It's good. Like, they've improved, and if they do more like this, I hope they do a better script. I hope they have better characterization. I hope they have an arc. I hope they have a story that I could get behind. Like, I hope that gets better, but the animation is really good, so I'll give them that. It is really good. But yeah, 4 out of 10. Take that for what you will. Have you guys seen Infinite Darkness? Probably not, but if you have, did you love it, hate it, don't care about it, you're even mad at me for talking about it? Why are you guys mad? Stop being mad. Let me know down in the comments down below. I love hearing your guys' thoughts. I don't know if anybody has seen this. If you have, please let me know. Have you seen this amazing anime? Tell me what you thought about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'm your host, Grant, for One Fair Review. I'll see you next time. As always, have a nice day. We'll be right back.